ledger accounts. We have previous video we have seen how to make journal entries from transactions given to us. Now, from these transactions, we have made what journal entries, and from that journal entries, we are going to make ledger accounts. So, first of all, understand what is the format of a ledger account. Here we go. This is how a ledger account would look like. Every individual item mentioned in the transactions we have separate ledger accounts for each. So whenever you have found a new item, you have to draw a ledger for that. See what all things appear in the ledger. It will have date, it will have particulars, a journal folio column at the smallest column of this table. If you ignore it also, no problem. Okay. Okay. Then we have amount column. Of course, we have amount column. And the same thing happens twice. Why? For this, we have, see, whenever you draw a ledger account, remember it has two sides, that is debit side, and of course, the credit side. And a credit side. So since a ledger account will have debit side and credit side, you can see date, particulars, and amount repeating here also. So the date, particulars, and amount pertaining to that effect the debit side comes here, and that belongs to the credit side comes here. So what is debit side and credit side? Don't worry, we have discussed before, and we will slowly discuss everything here. Okay. Now, first of all, let's see what all are the transactions given to us. Okay. The transaction says that Radhika started a restaurant in Kochi on 1st January 2004. Okay. And she serves us with this information. On 1st January 2024, she started a business with cash rupees 5 lakh. Remember, we have seen a rule. Remember, that is not a written rule or something followed globally. For you people to learn easily, we have told the rule that for LICIC, okay, you know, when liability, income, or capital of the business, when it increase, we should give credit in where? In the journal entry. So now the question is, what do you mean by giving credit? Giving credit means nothing but writing below in a journal entry. I'll show you some examples. Now, see the first transaction and how the transactions have been journalized. Journalized means writing in a journal. Okay. See how we are written here. It is cash account vector to capital. Here, if you understand, capital is given credit. That means what? Capital is below. In a journal entry, we will have at least two items, and one of the item will be written and the other item will be written below. So writing above means we are giving debit to it. Writing below means we are giving credit to it. So when we talk about LICIC, the rule says that with the help of a transaction, since a transaction happened, if liability, income, and capital of a business increased, then we should give credit to it. Now, if you can remember this, we are going back to the transaction notes again. Transaction says this thing was the very first thing that happened in the transaction. We started a business with cash rupees 5 lakh. Okay. Since cash is an asset, when cash is an asset, when asset increase, since asset increase here, when we are getting more cash means our asset cash is increasing. Okay. When asset increase, since it is not a part of this LIC, liability, income, and capital, what we did, since asset, when the cash, the asset increase, and since it is not a part of LIC, we debited it. Remember, if it was part of this LIC, that means if it was either liability, income, or capital of the business, we should have done what? We should have given credit. That means we should have written below in a journal entry. Here, we have cash and asset increasing, so we wrote it above and it is known as given debit. The same time, the cash was the first investment. This cash was the first investment made by the owner Radhika in her business. So undoubtedly, this is what? This is capital of the business. So when capital increase, what should we do? We should give credit to it. According to LICIC, the rule we have studied, we should give credit to it. Let's see how the transaction has gone. Now, once again, remember this transaction started business with cash rupees 5 lakh. Let's see how the journal entry is done there. See here, cash, the asset increase, so we have given debit to it. And the capital, it is what? Capital, so it is one of the liability. When it increased, we gave credit to it. It was how our journal entries went. If we are confident enough to read the journal entries, it is very, very simple to put them in ledgers. Okay, writing these journal entries into ledger accounts are known as what? A process called posting. Please remember that word posting. Posting means writing these journal entries into ledger accounts. Since we have two items affected here, which are they? The cash and capital. So we are confident that we are very clear that we have to go two accounts right now, which is cash account and capital account in the ledger book. Now, before going into that, why do we draw a ledger account? Remember, in our first step of accounting, we recorded the transaction, isn't it? We have recorded the transactions. Now, after recording it daily, once in a month or once in a week, we are just going to classify these transactions into their respective heads. Now, this thing we are going to draw here a cash account. Okay, in cash account, what all things will come? We have a proper format. Just forget about that. What all things will come in a cash account? We know the expense of a business and income of a business, or in other words, money that went out of a business and money that came into the business, isn't it? In a cash account, we can find these. Now, think we have spent total of 10,000 rupees, and think we have received a total of 50,000 rupees. Remember, this is not from a single transaction, from different transaction. Now the business suddenly want to know how much cash the business has with it. Okay, think you are what manager of a, I mean accounts manager of a hotel, and the owner of the hotel came running into the business and asked you, okay, tell me how much money do our business have left with us? If we are just going through journal entries, how many journal entries should we check? It is not possible to check each and every journal entry and say how much money we have. But if we periodically classify it in a single account where we have recorded all expenses here, all incomes here, we can take the difference from this side. Okay, we can compare which side is more and take the difference, and that difference would be, of course, the balance we have with our business. It can be either debit side, it can be either credit side. If we have more income, okay, if we have more income than expense, that means what? We have extra cash with us. But if our expense are more than our income, what does that mean? We don't have enough cash in our business. So if we want to suddenly find this, journal entries can't help us. So for this purpose, we prepare account for each item. And finally, what we do? We just balance to find whether we have what thing we have left with us. When here I talked about just cash account, but remember, for everything we need to look like this. For example, if you remember, we have a creditor named Raju Bai, isn't it? Raju Bai is a person who have lended some goods for us. He supplied some goods in credit. Now, what we will do? We will sell our goods, and whenever we want to make another purchase, before making the purchase, we will make a repayment to him. Like this, like a cash account, in Raju Bai also we will pay what? A single account. In the Ajubai's account, you can just see what all things will come. We know the just two transactions happen there. We make purchase from him, we repay his amount. Just think that this is the Ajubai's account. Okay, here we will record what all things we purchase from him. Or this thing we are here we record the payments we made to Rajubai. In this side, we will just record what are purchases or what are the okay. This is payment. Sorry, this is purchase, and this is what? This is payment. Okay. Now, suddenly, Raju boy came into business and asked, okay, boy, how many rupees you have to pay me right now? How much amount is left with us? When if we are going to check these journal entries can't help us at the right moment. At a single moment, it can't help. But if we have created a Raju boy account in our ledgers, what we can do? Here, we will write what all payments we made to Raju boy. Here, we will record what all purchases we made from Raju boy. So the balance would be what the amount we have left to pay to him. We can easily find it. This is the purpose of preparing a ledger account for each and every item. Same time, we can also see how much rupees we have made purchase from him, how many rupees payment we have made to everything we can find in a summarized form. But in ledger, since it is recorded on the date of happening, it is scattered here and there. We have to pick it from here to avoid such confusions with repair ledger accounts. But if you, I hope you have got a better idea of why we prepare a ledger account. If we have this idea, ledger account is very simple thing to do. Now let's see. Once again, we are moving into the very first transaction. It was cash account, cash account to the capital account. Now, just forget everything else. The journal entry says cash account debited to capital account. See, so we know the cash account is debited, capital account is what? Credited. So simultaneously, we can draw two accounts which are there, cash account and the second one we can name as comes here, capital account. Okay, capital account. Okay, now we know the transaction was cash account debted to. That means the cash account was debited. So we are going to write in the debit side of the cash account. So we are very clear about that. We are going to write at the debit side. When the transaction happened, yeah, it happened on 1/1/2024. And what transaction happened? It was cash debted to what? Just think as the journal entry. How we read it, this thing like that. Cash account debted to what? Debted to what? Yeah, you know, it is capital account, isn't it? Just read like that in your mind and write. So it is cash account debted to here, right? Capital. And the amount was 5 lakh as far as I remember. Okay, it is 5 lakh. Okay. Now, at the same time, we are moving to the capital account. Remember, we are following a double entry system, which means we have a dual aspect, debit aspect and credit aspect. Whatever, whenever a transaction happens, it will at least affect two items for sure. So we know we have recorded in cash account means the same thing have to be recorded there, capital account also. Now stand here at the capital account, think about the journal entry once again. Was that journal entry capital account debted to cash? No. Since capital account is not credited in a journal entry and in the journal entry if capital account is mentioned, what else would happen? The capital account was credited. So we should write at the credit side of capital account. I hope the idea is clear. The journal entry was not capital account debted too. So it was credited. We have written capital account in the bottom side of the journal entry. That means capital account was credited, which means that according to that transaction, which have to be recorded in the credit side of capital account. I hope the idea is clear. Now we can just see how we will write it in the capital account. Here we go. We have written cash account debted to capital here. So the capital account on the same date, we are going to write what? Cash. Since we have written capital there, here we are going to write cash. And what was the amount? About the same amount itself. 5 lakh. Yeah, now we have recorded that those two transactions. Now we can move on to the next thing. Yeah, what was the next transaction? On the same day, the business was started with cash and also furniture of rupees 10 lakh. Now we know the furniture and asset increase in the business. When asset increase, we should give debit. Capital also increase, so it should be given credit. Now, yeah, here we have the journal entry. Furniture accounted to capital 10 lakh, 10 lakh. Okay. Now we know we have already done capital account, so we have got just one account, that is furniture account. So to the next account, I'm giving the name furniture account. Furniture account. Okay. Here we have the furniture account. Now, once again, this is the journal entry. The journal entry was yeah, journal entry was furniture account at the capital. So we are clear that the furniture account is debited, the capital account is credited. Now we are moving on to furniture account. We know the transaction was furniture account debited to. So we write the date here in particular column. We write what? Capital. This furniture account, so we will write capital here. In the capital, the amount was 10 lakh rupees. Now, we know this is double entry system. We should at least record in two areas. In the second transaction also, in the second journal entry also, capital account was credited. It was furniture account debted to capital account, isn't it? So we have to write in the credit side itself. Once again, the same date. And here, what should be right? It should be written as furniture. And we shall write the amount. What was the amount? It was 10 lakh. No change in the amount, it was 10 lakh itself. Okay, this is how journal entries go. Hope you have got that idea. You can see or know to know how to do it. Remaining, you can do it yourself. Okay, similarly, we can do kitchen economic capital. I didn't think much. Capital account is already there. So we need to prepare what? Kitchen account. So, kitchen account. Kitchen account. Yeah, kitchen account is there. Now, the journal entry was kitchen account debted to what? Capital. So we write capital here is debited. Capital. What is the date? It was saying that it was 1/1/2024 and the amount was 12 lakh, I think. 20 lakh. And here in the same thing would happen on 1/24. How much? Sorry, for what? It was kitchen equipment. Kitchen equipment. And okay. And the amount was 12 lakh. Now just see, when a person who knows very well about accounting, when he see this, what can he understand? Since it is a capital account, it shows what all things brought in and taken away by the owner of the business. So when he looks here, he can understand it is the first date of the business, and on the first day, the owner has brought these things as capital. See, if the same thing was to be found from the entries, he should have looked somewhere and somewhere, but in a capital account, everything is summarized. So, same time, the business, someone who visiting the business want to know how much worth of furniture are there. Okay, in the beginning it was 10 lakh. If he made another purchase, it will be also written here. So total, how much worth of furniture do the business have? We can easily find from this account. This is the purpose of preparing a ledger account. And it is very easy if you have your journal entries with you. Now we have done the first three transactions. Now we can write from somewhere in between. Don't do that in a real practice. For your purpose alone doing this. When you are doing, write everything in the proper order. Date should go consecutively. It is very important because this is something really practiced everywhere. We can't just stumble with the words. Jumbled dates can't go there. Okay. Now just see, it was purchase account at the value. I'm just going to that when it happened. Yeah, it happened on 5/1/2024. Okay, let's do that way. Okay, I'm just going to prepare one more account. That is Raju by account. Okay. Hope you have understand the idea. You can easily do everything. I'm just going to prepare Raju by account and let's see. Now our question is how much rupees we have to pay Raju by right now. By this account we will easily find it. I will show you how to do that. Just go through the transaction from the very beginning and see wherever Raju is mentioned. Okay, first day Raju is mentioned, that here it is Raju. Purchase account referred to Raju on 5/1/2024. Remember, when you do first what you have to do, you have to prepare a purchase account. In the purchase account, on the debit side, you have to write Raju. After that, we have to move to Raju account. In Raju account, where we have to write, I will show you. Here we have the Raju account. Since the journal entry is not purchased, sorry, Raju account referred to, you know, it will come in the credit side of Raju. That means Raju is credited in the journal entry, isn't it? That is journal entry was purchase account referred to Raju. Raju is credited there, and it was credited with what? Referred to it purchase. So we are going to write purchase here. The amount was, sorry, I don't remember. 5,15151. The amount was 3 lakh. Okay, now we are going to write here 3 lakh. Now, what else we have to do? First month's value was mentioned there. We are moving to the next month. Okay. Okay. Till here, now the value by, yeah. On the next month beginning, on the first day of next month, we return goods value, whatever it may be. We are going to write the Raju account. The journal entry was Raju account, debted to purchases. Here we will write purchase. When it happened in the first day of the next month, that is 1/2/34. And the amount was 50,000. I think we can do it, don't worry. Here we go. Yeah, the amount was 50,000. So we have returned this for 50,000 to Raju by. Okay. Now, what else happened? On 5 to 2024, we gave cash to Raju, but we repaid to Raju by the journal is Raju by account debit to cash. So we are going to Raju by account once again. So the date was 5 to 2024. Since Raju by is debited, it is a credit side and was debited with what? Cash. And the amount was 3 lakh rupees. Okay, now we are moving on to where. We are written till February. Anything else related to Raju Bhai? Raju Bhai related to purchase, Raju Bhai related to cash, anything else related to Raju Bhai? Yeah, once again, we have made a purchase from Raju Bhai. It is purchase account related to Raju Bhai. So the Raju Bhai account is credited here. Remember, first of all, you have to record this in purchase account. What? In the debit side of purchase account, you have to write Raju Bhai. I am not showing it here because why? I am just want you to show how the Raju Bhai account is prepared. So once again, we have purchase here. It is 5 to 2024. Okay. And we have purchase here once again. Okay. So how much amount we made the purchase? We can have a look at once again. This was made for 5 lakh rupees. Okay. Now we can move on to the third month, I think. 153. Yeah, this was the last transaction we recorded. That one, now the transaction related to Raju Bhai. And the third month here, we have Raju Bhai related to cash. Once again, we made a repayment of rupees 10 lakh. Sorry, 2 lakh. We are going to Raju Bhai. Raju Bhai account related to cash. 5/3/2024. And the amount was, sorry, cash. We have given the amount as cash, rupees return cash. And the amount was 2 lakh rupees. Okay, we can once again move to the, yeah, we prepaid, and once again we made a purchase of 4 lakh rupees. Remember, purchase account letter to Raju Bhai first, this transaction will occur in purchase account alone. Then we should move to Raju Bhai. Since we are not preparing purchase account for you, yes, I'm not showing here, but we should prepare in real life. Okay. So we can write purchase account letter to Raju Bhai in the Raju Bhai account alone. Remember, it is not Raju Bhai account letter too. So Raju Bhai is written there on 5/3/2024. We will write purchase there, and the amount was 4 lakh rupees. Now just see, the year has ended. The financial year has ended where on 31st March 2024. So I am going to see how much rupees now I have pending to pay to Raju Bhai. Take the sum here. It is 2 lakh, 3 lakh, it is 5 lakh 50,000. This side show it is 5 lakh 50,000. That is debit side show 5 lakh 50,000 as a total. Let's see the credit side. It is 1 lakh. Wow. 9 plus 3, 12 lakh rupees, isn't it? We have made a purchase of 12 lakh rupees from Raju Bhai, but we repaid only 5 lakh 50,000. So what will be the difference? You can just take a calculator and do 5 lakh, sorry, it would be 12 lakh minus 5 lakh 50,000. The difference is 6 lakh 50,000. So this account has given us an information that we have 6 lakh 50,000 pending to be paid to whom? Raju Bhai. Remember, it is the amount we have to pay him here. This side is small, and the total of this side is 12 lakh, but total of this side is just what? 5 lakh 50,000. So to make it balanced, we will write it is 6 lakh 50,000. And remember, we only find this balance at the end of a financial year. It is 31/3/2024, the financial year ended, and we will write it as balance carried down. Okay, now what we have to do? We should end this account. How to close this account? I will show you. Okay, now see here, I have gone 2 lines because this account, I know this account has ended. Okay, there is no more entry. So I will take the total of 2 sides here. Remember, we had just added 6,50,000 by taking the difference. So obviously the total would be equal here. It will come as what? 12 lakh rupees. This is how we finish what? An account. Okay, this algebra account. Please write A/0 account here. Now we know how many rupees we have purchased this year from Raju Bhai, how many rupees we have repaid him, how many rupees worth which have we returned to him. Everything we know here. So we know what is the balance we have to pay in the most important information. This is how we prepare a ledger account. Please try to write every ledger account from the entries. And if you feel any doubt, please let me know. Okay, thank you.